All right, let's do a Monday sports algorithm podcast for hockey and for college basketball. I feel good about sharing all the predictions from the algorithm because after, if you've caught any of the videos I've done today, a couple of videos about just trying an in-game same like both sides of the game playing on fluctuating lines like that is something I thought would work and absolutely worked today. And we'll find out if it's classified as arbitrage and if FanDuel bans my account. But in this honeymoon period, while they haven't banned it yet, I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to talk about what games you want to look at when focusing on that type of strategy, because it's a different type of game you're looking at. So here's hockey from Sunday. Pretty good day, 4-2. You have Arizona coming back to win here. Winnipeg did not win, but I talked about all this in a previous video. But it was an okay day. So let's talk about Monday. A lot of early games in the schedule, a couple 1 o'clock games. Says Boston will actually beat Ottawa into negative point oblivion, apparently. And also, this is all going to update. This is wrong. This is actually going to change in about 9 minutes when we get into Monday, because it's really Ottawa that has back-to-back game, I believe, because they played yesterday, not Boston. Yeah, Ottawa's going to have a back-to-back game. So don't pay attention to this. It's actually all the yeses are wrong. Those are teams that played on Saturday. So anyway, Boston's supposed to annihilate it right now. Would you take Ottawa in a game like this? I don't necessarily think so, even though the line's really good, because this is one where Boston is supposed to get off to a lead and never look back, and they're a very good team with huge strength. So this is what I'm going to stay away from, because the underdog line, while it's nice and juicy, it's not a game where we have any anticipation of them playing well. And even though it's hockey, I'm going to stay away from this one to start. Anaheim and Florida. Is there any potential? So that's an even juicier line. Anaheim can occasionally win some games. Florida's been iffy, but it is the number 2 pick of the game. I'm considering trying this one. This is an interesting idea. It is Florida at home. But you could really go either way on this one, because it's also a game where Anaheim may never be close. But Florida's not nearly as good of a team as Boston is. So there's some reason potentially to start off with Anaheim, and I might. Next game, Philadelphia and Calgary. This Philly and the Flames, this one is obvious. So here you absolutely start the game off with a +2.5 Philadelphia bet. And with a game this close, there's probably an opportunity in this game with Philly with a lead at some point. It's more likely than not, given how close this is showing this game. So that's one where you take them +205. Hopefully they get up by 1 or 2 goals, and then you come in and you take Calgary at +200 or 300, even if they're down a couple goals, something like that. So that's the way I'm going to play this game. Seattle and San Jose, too close to call early on in this game. It actually says Seattle crushes this even more than you'd think. But the goaltenders, we don't know which goaltenders are going, so it's also tough. We don't know if Carter Hart's going, actually. It might be the other goalie tomorrow for Philly. So this one not going to make any action on, but it does say Seattle would win this game, but the line is in line with that. Then you have Winnipeg and the Rangers. Should be a very good game. Hellbuck's probably sitting because he just played today, being Sunday. So he's probably not playing. Shesterkin probably is playing. And so that's why that line is that. Not really much to bet here because you don't know if Hellbuck's going. So stay away from that. And these lines are too close in this Islander-Pittsburgh game, which I think is going to be a tie in that game. So that's hockey. Now let's go over to college basketball. So today's day, a recap of Sunday, was 14-12. How did our home teams do? 11-3, and we lose Butler injured. So it tells you to stay away from that one for sure. Could have said stay away from this one and this one, which were winners also, maybe even this one. Notice these teams don't cover the spread, does cover the spread, but you can see how you get some losses near injuries right here, although you had a really injured Houston. So this one was avoidable with Butler, even though it was the value pick of the day, right? It was the value pick of the day, but they were injured. So it's saying, watch out. So when you take that Butler game out of there, you're 11-2, right? Only 2 losses. You got Fairfield blows a really close one to Manhattan late. And St. Bonaventure took this to overtime after being down 10. So they tried. These teams really, really tried. And your day is slightly profitable without the Butler game, which I feel like you need to remove from here because it absolutely told you not to play it at 77% health. So you definitely be profitable. You can see this is where you start to go unprofitable, is losing that Butler game. So you would definitely be profitable overall staying away from Butler and betting the rest of the home teams. Now, the away team's a completely different story. I mean, if you've heard me talk about the home bump and where the home bump can lie, somewhere between 5 and 20%. We have no home bump acting on this projection right here, but look at the losses up to 20%. I mean, check this out. If you go 20% home bump, there's only one game on here. How do your home teams do? 25. Like, if you only bet the one away team that was above 20% margin before we bumped everything, being Iona, everything else goes 20-5. How profitable is this? It's profitable because of these winners down here at the bottom. Very profitable. So it's one of those just betting home teams in college basketball. Secrets disclosed, right? That is so what it is, right? Look at like 4 of these 5 dogs winning because they're home teams, right? All just crazy, right? So just one of those where I'm happy to tell you to take home teams because they have days like that. So now let's talk about here Monday. Not too big of a schedule, but there are games. So what I'm looking for are teams with really good underdog lines, home teams especially, that could potentially have that have a chance of winning or being ahead in the game and creating a positive line for the other team. So let's go and let's look. First of all, we're going to look at with no bump home teams, raw home teams. Looks, I mean, it is actually, with the exception of this Texas Southern game, slightly out of whack from West Virginia. You're almost, well, in this 1800 should be up here. You're almost straight down what the odds makers have. I mean, wow. Just straight down by color, almost exactly. Only 2 slightly out of whack. And that's this injury here for Illinois. You should be scared of that. They should not be 1800. So they're home though, so they're probably going to still win. Now, is there anything good on here? Well, you got Alabama State, really thin margin, -175. Texas Southern, West Virginia gets injured. Oklahoma State, Cal Santa Barbara. These 4 are below -250. So if you're from the, if you're playing home teams to win, you've got something to play on here. It really, these 6, good, the -440, you're probably going to hit 5-1 on that. So usually the way it goes on a short day like this, you might hit all of them. So we'll see there. Now, what about our away teams and really the home teams over here? So anything below 20% bumper, these 4 games. And that means these home teams might win. The Morgan State line's the best out of those when we open it up because Howard's -175. So Morgan's, let's raise this by 20% and then go back and look at home teams. And it's these ones at the bottom here. You can see there's a 172 for Morgan State. So what I'll do here, the only game I can see that I'll probably make action on before the game, before any of the live betting arbitrage attempts, same game stuff attempt to do that, is I would start with a straight bet on Morgan State, even though you probably wait till the game starts. If they get down a couple, they'll be +250 or 300, so it's almost smarter to wait. But this plan in this game is to take this home team and have them get ahead enough because they're home that Howard gets a positive line. And you already have a bet at 172 on Morgan State, and anything you can get positive on Howard would make you a winner on the game. So that's the one I'm going to start off with, messing around with college basketball on Monday. It's just that Morgan State. So I will continue to do this and go over my daily tracking. I'm very, very happy reporting this because I really have an understanding for what's happening. I don't think it's going to last. I think you're going to see, unfortunately, I broadcast it, so I make it happen faster, but you're unfortunately going to see they're just not going to allow you to have 2 bets on competing teams in the same game for this reason. I think that's their only solution, is that they'll have to name that as an arbitrage, unaccepted method of wagering. And I think they probably will if I continue to show profitability on this basically every day, which if you bet enough games, man, is it tough not to be profitable doing this. You've got to pick a ton of underdogs that never, ever, ever come back or make it close or take the lead in a game like basketball with such long, many points. It's just, it's really, really tough when you're focused. You don't just come in and take any big underdog. Like you don't take, Coppin State at whatever they're going to be plus 800. You don't do that because I did that today. In some games, it did not work. You don't take these huge teams down here because they're on the road. Like Louisville's on the road against Duke, even though Duke can blow some games. You don't do that because if they drop down behind to the home team like Norfolk State or Duke or Illinois, even though Minnesota is kind of injured, there's a shot at trying this Minnesota because of the injuries on Illinois. There, I think starting with a 920 is actually a possibility because we'll see what these injuries end up updating to tomorrow. But that's such a huge payout with such a question mark with injuries that's a possibility as well. Just to start the game with that, just in case they get off to a big lead or they hold a lead due to an injured Illinois, that could absolutely happen. So that's the Monday Sports Algorithm Podcast. Good luck. May all your picks be winning. I hope we're learning. I know I'm learning, and we'll just keep doing it as long as it lasts. Good luck. May your picks be winning.